That's the Cult off Electric with Love Removal Machine. You're listening to 89.3 WGSU. I'm the voice of college radio, Pierce McManus. And coming up this hour, you've got Stone Roses, Ministry, Public Enemy, and a whole lot more. If you have a request, give me a call on the request line, 245-5586. And speaking of requests, here's the Smiths with Girlfriend in a Coma, going out to Kelly. One of the first things I did when I set foot on campus my freshman year at college was to find the college radio station and sign up for DJ auditions. Sure, I might have gone to college to study political science and English literature, but the truth was, I was there to kickstart a long and illustrious broadcasting career. And just as predicted, my radio show was an overnight sensation, one of the most listened to and talked about shows on the college radio station. As I was quickly enjoying all the benefits that came with my newfound minor local celebrity status, you know, shout outs from other DJs, party invites, high fives from the upper class frat bros that lived in my dorm. I was also quickly learning that it was very, very lonely at the top of that 1,000-watt FM radio tower. Don't get me wrong, I loved everything about being a DJ. Pierce, the voice of college radio, he was a huge success. Pierce, the college student, not so much. I'd go from half the population in a 40-mile radius, eating out of the palm of my hand, wondering when I was gonna play that new track by The Cure, to sitting by myself in a dimly lit corner of the college dining hall, wondering why I was having such a hard time making friends. Robert Smith lied. Boys do cry. Yeah. So I retreated to the only safe place I knew, the college radio station, where I kept playing the hits and answering calls on the request line. It was early on in my broadcasting career when the request line lit up and I took a call from a female listener. I know this sounds crazy, but my husband and I, well, we're big fans of your show. And we recently had a baby boy. So we named him after you. We call him Baby Pierce. I hadn't even turned 20 years old and women were naming babies after me. I was that good. A few months passed, fall semester turned into spring semester, and I was back in the hallowed halls of 89.3 WGSU spinning records, and the phone lit up again, and I picked up the phone. I heard a familiar voice. I don't know if you remember me. I'm the lady who named her baby after you, Baby Pierce. Well, I was wondering if you could do us a favor. We recently got a nanny. Her name is Katja. She's from Sweden. Well, she's feeling homesick, and she wants to spend some time with people her own age. You sound like a nice person on the radio. Would you like to meet Katja, our Swedish nanny? I was a 19-year-old heterosexual virgin. What do you think I said? You're damn right I said yes. And in my head, the vision of the Swedish nanny that I was going to meet was absolutely nothing like the Swedish nanny I eventually met. It was like being promised a Saab convertible and getting a potato. Katja, the Swedish nanny, she looked like she had just walked off a bread line in Moscow. And she smelled like a mixture of cigarettes and spoiled milk. Yeah, I was slightly disappointed. But I'm also a man of my word, and I agreed to spend the afternoon with her. So I took her on a tour of the campus, took her to a few classes, and as we sat down at the student union for lunch, I quickly picked up on the fact that she really didn't like being a nanny. I hate being a nanny, she said. The parents, they're terrible. So many rules. Do this, don't do that. Where's the baby? And Baby Pierce? Oh, I think he is the saddest baby ever. Baby Pierce cries, Baby Pierce wants to be held, Baby Pierce needs attention. She continued, I hate my nanny job. I want to quit. I want to go to school at university here in the States. That's why I came here, not to be nanny. Despite our rough edges, my heart went out to Katya. I felt sorry for her. We said our goodbyes, went our separate ways. She went back to being a nanny. I went back to being the voice of college radio. Freshman year became sophomore year, and I was back in the hallowed halls of 89.3, playing records and fielding requests. And the request line lit up, as it always did, and who would you guess was on the other line? It was Katya, and she was so happy. I'm so happy, she said. She proceeded to tell me how she had quit her nanny job, had actually relocated to a university town about 4 hours away from where I was going to school, and had started taking classes. I met many other international students here. In fact, I met a girl from Ireland. You would like her very much. She will call you. And sure enough, a few days later, the phone rang. Hello, is this Pierce? This is Sinead. I think Katya told you I'd be calling. Sinead. Sinead. Are you serious? Now, Sinead O'Connor had just hit the charts with Nothing Compares to You. Hold your horses there, mister. There's more than one Sinead in Ireland. And there's more than a fair share of Pierces, I'll have you know. And with that, I was smitten. Sinead began calling on a regular basis, and I looked forward to her calls as much as I looked forward to doing my radio show. She had this amazingly inspiring story. She grew up in Western Ireland. She was the youngest of 8, the only girl in her family, and her mother died when she was really, really young. And in between pints of Guinness, her father told her that she'd never amount to anything. She came to the States to prove him wrong. We talked about things that I didn't tell other people about. I felt really close. I felt this bond with Sinead that I hadn't felt with anyone else that I had met up until that point. I told her about the passing of my grandfather when I was 10 years old, and how I wondered what it must have been like for my grandmother to lose the only man that she ever loved. I told her about the time that I played Billy Bragg's Back to Basics for my parents, wondering if they'd be as moved by Billy Bragg's amazing lyrics. They weren't, and it really upset me. I told her just what a hard time I was having in college, and how, even into my sophomore year, I just couldn't make friends, and how lonely I felt. And it was in those moments I heard the gentler, softer side of Sinead. Pierce, I know things are hard right now. And I know you're searching for a lot of answers. But I want to tell you this. You'll find what you're searching for, and all will be good. You just have to trust me. And with that, I fell in love with Sinead. I want to see you, Sinead. This is the weekend I get to see you. Now, the fact that she went to school a few hours away, sure, that was a challenge, but it was by no means an insurmountable one. Pierce, I can't. I'm studying for midterms. Pierce, I can't. I picked up a shift at the pub. Pierce, I can't. Katya and I are going to New York City this weekend. I began to worry. Maybe Sinead doesn't like me. Maybe Sinead has seen someone else. Or maybe the worst fate of all. Maybe Sinead only likes me as a friend. I couldn't take it anymore. My heart was breaking into 1,000 million little pieces at every evasion. I finally thought it was time to throw down the gauntlet. Sinead, I'm coming to see you this weekend, and I won't take no for an answer. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Pierce. breaks my heart to hear you say that. There's something about me you probably should know. You see, Pierce, I've really loved talking to you on the telephone and getting to know you and our conversations that we've been having here for a while. And I really think you're something special, but there's something you should know about me. You see, Pierce, sometimes I'm Sinead, a student from Ireland trying to make a better life for herself in America. And sometimes I'm Katja, a Swedish nanny who hates being a nanny. And sometimes I'm just a bored, lonely housewife who calls college DJs and tells them that I named my baby after them. Now, I know the kids today, the kids with their Facebooks and interwebs and stuff, they have a thing that they call these crazy antics called catfishing. Yeah, well, I got catfish before catfishing was a thing. That's how hipster I am. But I must tell you, for the 99% of you that have not had a similar experience, no childhood trauma, no high school breakup, no college infidelity can prepare you for the incredible mindfuck that takes place upon learning that the very person you have poured your heart out to, the very person you have trusted, the very person you have confided in and poured out your heart and soul to, doesn't even exist. Now, when I tell my guy friends this story, they tell me there's no way I could have been in love with Sinead because, simply put, she wasn't real. And when I tell this story to some of the women I've dated over the years, they respond, "Oh, so that's why you have such unrealistic expectations of women." Let me set the record straight. I know for a fact that I was in love. Just like I knew I was gonna be nervous before I walked up on this stage, and just like I know I'm gonna have an ice cold beer as soon as I'm done. You just know. And as far as having unrealistic expectations, I prefer to think of it as setting the bar really, really high. I mean, wouldn't you? Why should you settle for the person that you want to fall madly in love with, right? So on that note, here's one last request from the voice of college radio, dedicated to all the single ladies in attendance tonight. Are you a fan of sensitive boys with minor trust issues? Do you like the sounds of 80s college rock? Do impressions of foreign accents turn you on? If you've answered yes to any of those questions, please call me. And then let's make arrangements to meet in person as soon as possible. Oh, and by the way, one more thing. Please bring 2 forms of valid ID. Thank you, everybody!